Well, hello everyone. Welcome. I'm Jane Hogan, the wellness engineer. Let me know if you can hear me. I hope you can hear me okay. And I'm here today because I'm going to do a live Q&A. I've had some questions pre-submitted. If you've got any questions, you can just type them in. I should be able to see the comments. Let me know. I'm not seeing any comments showing up here. I'm in StreamYard right now, so I'm not seeing them in here. But I think if you make the comment where you are, if you're on YouTube or if you're on Facebook, then it should show up right here. And I'm also going to give a little pain-free experience for you. So I think it's going to be a great time. So welcome. I'm so happy that you're here. So let's talk about what I like to talk about, and that is what chronic pain really is. So yeah, go ahead and put any questions in the comments. So I love to really help people understand that pain is actually a good thing. And I understand that when you're in chronic pain, it doesn't feel like it's a good thing, because that's where I was. Well, it's a while ago now. It was back in 2016. I had so much pain and inflammation throughout my body. I could barely walk. I couldn't sleep very well, and then I didn't have any energy. I couldn't make a fist with my hands. I had no grip strength. I had big swollen knees, and just all the joints in my body, almost all the joints. My hip joints were okay, but hands, feet, shoulders, knees, so many were hurting, even in my jaw. So I understand what it's like to have chronic pain, and all you want is the pain to go away, right? So if you're there, I want you to know that I have so much compassion for you, because I get it. I know what it's like. But I also want to empower you, to help you understand that you can help, I would say, eliminate the pain. But even hopefully with what I show you today, you'll understand that you can just begin to start lowering the pain. So pain is really a messenger. It's our body telling us that things aren't going well. And so it's a call for help, really. And thank goodness we have it. You know, it's good to have pain receptors, so we know that there is a problem, right? Imagine if we didn't feel any pain and we were sitting up, touch something hot and we didn't get the message, we wouldn't know to pull away, right? But chronic pain is something different. Chronic pain is pain that lingers for a long time. Hi, Betty. Thanks for letting me know that you're listening. Betty, if you have any particular questions, go ahead and type them in the comments. Anyone else, if you've got questions, type them in the comments. So getting back to what pain is. So it's your body talking to you. It's asking for help. So I believe when pain becomes chronic, there could be a few things going on. It could be that you've got some internal dialogue going on, maybe back from childhood trauma. It could be mild trauma. It could be more intense trauma that's keeping your subconscious mind in a stress state. And so when the body gets a message that it's a stress state, then things begin to break down. And as we get older and our bucket can get full, in my case, it was after a year of intense stress, then my bucket overflowed. And so then it's like the body goes, okay, can't take any more. Pay attention now. So it could be something that's lingering subconsciously, and it could be a combination of the things I'm going to tell you about now too. It could also be that your brain has learned the pain really well. And the brain does that, right? That's what our brain does. It learns things and it learns patterns, and then it repeats those patterns. So it could be that your brain has learned this pattern so well that it just keeps repeating it, especially when we feel pain with fear as well, which tends to go along, because I remember what that was like too. I had all this pain, and then you wonder, is it ever going to get better? And then you worry about what your life is going to be like. And so in that situation, we keep wiring the pain, because pain, the signals come from our brain, right? It's not actually in your body where you're feeling it. The signals from the brain. So if we keep wiring those networks in our brain, then we're going to keep repeating the pain and actually even making it worse. So it could be that going on. I also like to talk about energy. And I know that for some people, this whole energy thing may be sounding a little bit out there. But we know from quantum physics that every single thing in our known universe is energy. And that includes us. We are actually 99.9999999% energy. And because of that, we are affected by energy. And our thoughts are even energy, right? So everything is energy. And if we have pain, it's energy not flowing. So this is the basis of like the ancient practice of traditional Chinese medicine, for example, or Reiki, or a lot of energy modalities. They're trying to get the energy flowing again because it's been blocked. Now, it could be blocked because of, again, like our thoughts. It could be blocked because we've stored some trauma emotion in our body somewhere, and that stops the energy from flowing. So how I teach people to get out of chronic pain is kind of a combination of those things. I have read like hundreds of books. I would say, hundreds of books and hundreds of scientific research papers. And really what we're learning from the science is that the science is now beginning to prove these ancient practices that have been around for thousands of years, merging together. So in other words, if we're going to heal our body, but our body will heal itself, what we need to do is to create the environment in which our body can heal. And we can't do that if we're only focused on the physical, right? We're physical, right? This physical body. We have a mind, right? And the mind is, consciousness, sort of, it's not just in your brain, right? We have a consciousness and we have a spirit, body, mind, and spirit. We have to use all of those together because that's who we are. And I will tell you that when we look at that spirit side, call it spirit, call it energy, however you want to call it, that works a lot faster than the physical. The physical is kind of like the last place for everything to show up, right? And so if we only work on the physical, so when I say work on the physical, if we only focus on, say, diet, or we only focus on surgery, or that kind of thing, we are not going to completely heal because we have all these other facets to us, which is beautiful, right? So I think of pain as really you're being called to really live your truth. So it could also be, coming back to this, the root causes, it could also be that you are not living your life as the person you were meant to be. You're holding yourself back. You're not maybe expressing yourself. Actually, we're here to create, right? Create something. And you probably know what you were meant to create by things that you were interested in as a child. And maybe if you sat down and thought about what you might be able to do if you had a magic wand and there was no limitation of age or physical limitations or money limitations or time limitations, that would give you an indication of what you would do if there was none of those limitations. That's really your essence, your spirit, your truth of you that wants to express. And perhaps in your life right now, it's not being allowed to express. And so it's kind of like your soul is talking to you, right? Let's speak your truth. And so it's getting your attention through chronic pain. So these multi-faceted aspects, and you don't have to believe it all 100%. You just got to believe it a little bit and just kind of go with it. Maybe do a little bit of trust and surrender into it, and just believe that it's possible. So if you are a very science-minded person, and I get that too because I was an engineer for 30 years, I loved the science. I also was kind of dabbling in spiritual stuff as well. But I really love the science. And so I understand that people need science. So understand that what I show people and what I talk about relieving chronic pain, it is backed by science. Okay, these practices are backed by neuroscience, by quantum physics, by psychoneuroimmunology, by epigenetics. That's a whole new field of science, saying that we aren't just like a victim of our genes. Very like less than 2% of our genes are responsible for permanent coding. The rest is turning off, or dimming down or brightening up, depending on the environment that our cells are sitting in. So coming back to empowering you, I want you to know that, and this is science, we all learned this in high school biology, right? That all of our cells are constantly turning over. Some turn over really quickly, some take a lot longer to turn over, but regardless, you are physically not the same person you were a number of years ago. What animates this physical person and keeps all that going is that spirit side, consciousness, whatever you want to call it. There's that energy of us that's expressing through this physical body. So the cells are turning over and over all the time. How they turn over, how those genes express, depends on the environment which these cells are sitting in, right? The environment includes the physical environment. It includes our thoughts. It includes our feelings, all these aspects. And so if we can create an environment which is supportive of those cells reproducing in a safe, in an environment they know that is safe, instead of an environment that's kind of stressed or fearful, then they're going to be healthier, right? And as they reproduce, we're going to keep reproducing a healthier version that can let go of pain. Okay, so you can do this. And actually, I will say that if you want to get out of chronic pain permanently, like I am now, and many other people as well, you have to change that internal environment. And it begins with your thoughts. It really does begin with the thoughts that you're thinking over and over again. And so our thoughts, this is the kind of the way it kind of works through our body. Our thoughts, our conscious thoughts, and what we're taking in through our senses and the environment, that those thoughts are what goes into the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind, it's like a computer. It's got no personality. It doesn't make discriminating decisions like, okay, what comes in? Okay, we'll work with that. And so if the thoughts that are coming in are stressful thoughts, then it sends, because the subconscious mind runs our entire body. It's the subconscious mind that beats our heart, that releases chemicals, that changes our respiration. That's one we can change on our consciously too, though. Manages our digestion, manages our immune system, our reproductive system, and so on. So our subconscious mind is the one that's running everything. So if we change the inputs that are going into our subconscious mind, then we can change the output in our physical body. So I say that you are the only one really that can change those thoughts. No one else is thinking your thoughts for you. So you have to be aware of your thoughts, and then notice, are these thoughts supporting my healing, or are they supporting my body not healing? And how do you know? Do your thoughts feel good, or do your thoughts feel contractive or cause stress within you? So these thoughts that you're having is a really great starting point. Now, there's other things that can be done as well, but I would say start with your thoughts and noticing your thoughts, and then changing your thoughts. Perhaps you might have sometimes when you're not thinking anything at all. Okay, you could just be focusing on the breath, being silent, meditation, whatever that is, but just like in the moment, not thinking about anything else. You could focus on gratitude. When you're focused on gratitude, that sends a message of safety to the subconscious mind, which then sends all that down to the cells. The cells get the message, okay, things are safe. We can be, having a good time here. We don't have to be getting defensive with our immune system. We don't need to be, blocking things. So starting with your thoughts is really, really powerful. All right. So here, I hope you feel empowered because you control your thoughts. And with your thoughts, you can change your physical body. Wayne Dyer had a whole book on this, Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, right? And it's absolutely true. So I love to teach breath work, and I'll lead you through a little experience in a little while on where we will use our breath to create that calm state. And also, we're going to then create. The other thing about our thoughts is that thoughts result in feelings. Feelings are vibrations in the body. So because we are energy and because every single cell in our body is energy, our cells respond to vibrations. That's why sound healing works. That's why, music therapy, like a lot of these modalities or energetic modalities work because it's creating a vibration that's healing. Now, we all know the difference between a feeling of, say, love or a feeling of grief, right? One feels good in our body and the other one doesn't. We know that. Those are probably two of the really strong ones. But there's also little subtle one, more subtle ones like irritation or contentment, right? So these types of feelings, start to pay attention to what you're thinking and then noticing what you're feeling in your body. And then can you change it? Change your thought. No, because you can put whatever thought you want in your conscious mind. That's like one of the blessings of being a human being, is that we can change our thoughts. So change your thought to something that's more positive, just in the moment, and notice how you feel in your body. So getting in touch with that is, I would say, kind of the next step then, right? Okay, I'm going to address some questions. So what role does lifestyle play in chronic pain, management of chronic pain? Well, I mean, lifestyle is huge, right? Because is your lifestyle creating stress for you, or is your lifestyle creating peace and calm for you? And maybe different aspects of your life are some aspects of your life are creating stress, and some are creating safety. It's kind of like, let's look at it, those two ends of the spectrum, stress or safety. So have a look at that, because it definitely does, for all these reasons that I was just talking about, that if we can create safety through our lifestyle, then that's going to help, right? So what do we mean by lifestyle anyway? It means, like what kind of food you're eating. Is that stressing your body or not? What kind of work do you do? Do you honor your bedtime routines? Do you get outside and, see the sun and get out in nature every day? There's vibrations in nature too, right? We kind of know that they are healing vibrations. So yeah, your lifestyle definitely plays a role in the root causes of chronic pain and also in healing your chronic pain. Okay, are there specific holistic therapies or modalities that can effectively treat underlying causes of chronic pain? So I would say there's a whole lot of modalities that can help. And I love these different modalities. So maybe for someone, it might be like massage, or it might be acupuncture, or it might be Reiki. It might be Qigong, yoga, sound therapy, EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. What are some more? Internal family systems. I mean, there's so many healing modalities, and I would say that many of these can help. And are they enough on their own? Well, here's the thing. If you are going to get some of these different modalities, going to the chiropractor, for example, it may help for a little while, but if it's your stressful thoughts, and it probably is, or subconscious patterns that are creating the stress, well, then we have to deal with those because it'll just kind of keep slipping. So let's just use the chiropractor as an example. So if you always have, like a back pain, and you go to the chiropractor and they make an adjustment and you feel okay, and then a week later you're back to the chiropractor, or 2 weeks later, because this misalignment or the pain it's we haven't really addressed the root causes, right? So there's another root cause. And from all the people I've interviewed, hundreds of people now about chronic pain. And what I do know is that almost everyone says stress is a cause of chronic pain, and really pretty much any chronic condition. So all of these can help, and I love these different modalities, but I always say healing's an inside job. You need to do the work. So unless you start empowering yourself, taking control of those thoughts and your feelings, then the other modalities may give you some temporary relief, but maybe not permanent relief. I'd love for them to give you permanent relief, and maybe some of them will. And some of them can help, especially the ones that are addressing subconscious patterns of thinking that you may not even be aware of. But I can tell you some of the behavior, what I call like behavioral adaptations that are common with chronic pain are, and I say behavioral adaptations because these aren't not personality traits. Behavioral adaptations are things we created at some point in our lives when we were in a stressful situation and we couldn't get out of it. And so we had to create a behavioral adaptation in order to deal with it. So some examples are like perfectionism, people pleasing, being hyper vigilant. So always like really aware, do people like me? Do they not like me? Being very sensitive to like criticism, being hyper independent. So like, no, I'll do it myself, never saying no. So behavioral always like putting everyone else first and you're last. I see this over and over again. These are common behavioral adaptations that we just created to protect ourselves, or our ego created these to protect ourselves because we couldn't do it any other way. But we created a pattern of behavior, and 95% of the time we are operating on those habitual patterns of behavior. So if you have those kinds of behavioral adaptations, then they may be behind the chronic pain. I'll even say things like, even people that are like so pleasant and kind on the inside, or on the outside, but on the inside, they've got a lot of like suppressed anger. They're just not showing it, not talking about it, but it's kind of there, like always in the background, and just creating that underlying level of stress in the body. And of course, after a while, the body responds. Okay. So, can stress and emotional factors contribute to chronic pain? Yep. So after everything that I talked about, I think my answer to that is definitely yes. Chronic pain and stress, they go together. I'm curious, anyone that's watching, can you see any of those behavioral adaptations in yourself? Just a little yes or no, or thumbs up. I'm just wondering if you can see that. Are you a people pleaser, perfectionist, hyper vigilant, hyper independent? Like you want to do everything to yourself. You can't say no. You're always looking after other people. This is something I used to do, was like I said yes and I would do everything, but then I would feel resentful that I didn't have people helping me, but I didn't ask for help, right? So those are very, very common, and just like be kind to yourself and compassionate with yourself if you do notice some of those behavioral adaptations, because it was just the little person inside of us. Most often these started way, way back when we were children. And we just had to create these in order to survive. We couldn't like run away from our family, right? You know, we call that the stress state fight, flight, freeze. Another one that's becoming very common now is it's called fawn. So a lot of those behavioral adaptations are more like the fawn. We couldn't fight because we're little. We couldn't flee because we had to stay with our family. Freeze might be some of it, like that we just like turned off emotions. Or fawn, we start like, oh, I'll help you. Oh, I'm going to be the good girl or the good boy, right? So those types of things. Yeah, yes, I do. People please are very sensitive. Oh, I so get that. I so get that. I could cry in a second when someone look, even mild criticism. That's the way I was. I'm a lot better now. I've had to work at it though. And I will tell you that it does come with loving yourself. And loving yourself, I mean, it sounds funny to say I love myself, but it's doing the things for yourself and honoring yourself, right? Honoring your soul, honoring your desires, what you want in life. All of these things are ways that you can show love to yourself. You can start speaking kindly to yourself. I had to start doing this for myself. I actually did mirror work. I would look in the mirror and I would speak to myself because my mother had died, and I had unconditional love for my mother. I know not everyone's like that, so it may not be your mother for you, but for me it was. And I would just look at myself in the mirror and I would speak to myself as if my mother was speaking to me. I love you, Janie. You're doing a great job. You are an example of what's possible. I can see the goodness in you. You're a good and kind person. Stuff like that. And it sounds kind of funny, but when you start doing it, you just feel so good. And afterwards, like in the beginning, you might feel a little weird, but then you feel good. So if it's not your mother for you, then maybe it's another parent, like another father, grandparent, or maybe some other person in your life, or maybe you can imagine it's your best friend talking to you. Or if you can't even conjure up that, then maybe if you imagine that you had a guardian angel who absolutely loved you, what would that angel say to you? Or maybe you can imagine if you have children, how would you speak to your child? Or if you've got a pet that you love, just imagine like even talking to your pet saying, you're such a good person, like a good dog, or you're just so good. And you're like, whatever you can come up with, but start speaking to yourself like that. So it changes how you feel about yourself. It also lowers stress. So don't underestimate the power of these techniques, my friend. Okay, let's see. Okay, how does diet and nutrition help? I would say I used to be in the very beginning. I kind of started my healing by really doing like an elimination type of diet, but it's actually not how I recommend people start now. Because for one thing, I mean, you do kind of get some quick results, but it can lead to what happened to me anyway was orthorexia. So kind of a fear of eating anything but absolutely healthy food. And it also can create a lot of stress. So remember, I've mentioned the importance of stress. So if stress is super important, then we don't want to do something that's creating stress. So that's why I kind of say, all right, we don't need to go crazy with it. But I will say that eating real food, like if we do want to give our cells, right? Our cells are rebuilding, but they need building blocks to build with. So if we're feeding our body with crappy kind of food, like processed food, processed oils, sugar, things like that, then it's not going to have the building blocks it needs. So we do need to feed it the building blocks it needs. We need to stay hydrated. Try to avoid toxins. So trying to eat organic. And I will never say there's one diet that's great for everyone because everybody is different. But across the board, we seem to see that vegetables are where it's at. You get a whole lot of phytonutrients, which all your cells need. So eating a variety and colorful vegetables seems to be what works really well for everybody, whether you also have meat along with that or whether you also have legumes along with that. But the vegetables seem to be really good. So best quality vegetables and lots of color and variety. Okay, what role does inflammation play? Well, inflammation is a common underlying factor leading to pain. For me, that was where it started too. Not always. Sometimes people can get pain that doesn't also come with inflammation. Most inflammation begins in the gut, and you might be wondering, joint pain, what does that got to do with my gut? That's what I thought. But it's because our immune system, or most of our immune system, about like 80-90% of the immune system is on the other side of our small intestine. So as the food gets digested and absorbed through the small intestine, the immune system is right on the other side. And so if the wrong things are coming through, or if there's a condition called leaky gut, which means anything could come through and really then be on the other side where that immune system is, the immune system gets triggered then. And when it gets triggered, it could confuse the particles that have come in, which should never be in outside of the small intestine. If they come in, some of them are very similar to parts of our body. And so the immune system could then start attacking the similar things. So in my case, it was like the synovial fluid around the joints is where I was getting the inflammation. For someone else, it could be the thyroid. For someone else, it could be their skin. For someone else, it could be the brain and they're getting brain fog and, unable to think. For someone else, it could be whatever. There's a whole cascade. So healing the gut does become important. So if you've got inflammation, I would say a good place to focus is healing the gut. So how do we heal the gut? Well, lowering stress actually helps heal the gut, right? Because when we get stressed and then the digestive system doesn't work so well, we don't end up creating the digestive enzymes. And so then the wrong kind of bacteria can grow. And then that eats away at the small intestine wall, creating leaky gut, the holes, then triggers the immune system. So stress is huge. If you can lower stress, it's going to help heal the gut. Eating, good quality foods helps. I would say if you've got any gut inflammation, it does help to eliminate gluten from your diet because that's known to cause that cascade of leaky gut. So if we're trying to heal the gut, we don't want to keep throwing fire on it, right? And there's other things you can do, if you can stop taking, obviously, if you're on medications that prescribed by your doctor, you're not going to stop taking those. But if you're taking over-the-counter, NSAIDs, they're called non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, like Advil or that kind of thing, those contribute to leaky gut. So you will kind of want to stop taking those. I never like taking those anyway because they block the pain, and pain's the messenger, and I want to get that message because it's information. What else? Bone broth is another great way to heal the gut, like collagen, getting some collagen. Those types can really help. Those types of foods and supplements can really help seal the gut. So you may want to do a little bit of research in that area too if you have inflammation. All right. Last question. Okay, can a holistic approach to chronic pain complement conventional? Yes, absolutely. So, I always say keep working with your doctor. Um, you don't want to stop doing any of that, but anything that you can do, because your doctor and whatever your doctor's doing you, they that's probably not going to heal you if it's like I've talked about these root causes that come from within and it's stress. So your doctor's not going to stop the stress in your life. The person that stops the stress in your life or can reduce it anyway is you. So, and it's also, we tend to think, I know some people might be saying things like, well, I can't, I'm in a job, I have to work to feed my family, and I can't leave my stressful job. And that may be true. So, can you change how you react to it? Because actually, what we know about stress is that it's not, or trauma, any of that, it's not the actual event, it's how we respond to it. So, can you respond to it differently? Can you find some gratitude for what you do have? That's a great way to begin lowering stress. Can you do other stress reduction things that are going to help you if you do have a stressful job? Like maybe something like going for a walk outdoors at lunchtime. Can you do that to help bring the stress down in the middle of the day? So yes, so a holistic approach, I think I was getting sidetracked there, can definitely help uh, as an addition. And I would say what you do probably matters a whole lot more than what anyone else is doing for you externally. Healing pain is an inside job. Okay, I promised that I would do a little pain reduction experience for you. So if you are not driving, if you are driving, then I just come back to this later. You'll be able to access this video. It'll be sitting on YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're watching. Um, so you can come back later. But if you can join me now, then I invite you to just have a little relaxation experience with me. Before we start, I would like for you to focus first on, if you've got some chronic pain right now, rate that pain out of 10. Where is that pain right now out of 10? So 0 would be no pain at all. 10 is like, I can't take anymore. So it's your subjective number. Okay. Where is that pain out of 10? Or if you're not experiencing pain, maybe you're feeling anxious or something, like whatever, or irritable or angry or whatever that is, rate that out of 10 now. Okay. So rate it out of 10. And then wherever you are, just sit comfortably, or if you can lie down, that's good too. So just get comfortable where you are. Maybe like squeeze your shoulders up, and then with an exhale, let them fall. Do that again. Squeeze them up. I'm liking this. Exhale, let them fall. And then close down your beautiful eyes. And just breathe. See if you can breathe long and slow and deep. Ideally through your nose, but if that's not accessible for you, that's okay. So just inhale into the belly and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale again and exhale. Notice how supported you are right now. Feel the support of the chair beneath you or the bed. If you're touching the floor, maybe you notice the support of the floor. Notice how your hands are supported. Always supported. Notice your breath, how the breath moves in and out. Maybe you notice the feeling of the breath through your nose. Or maybe you notice the rise and fall of your belly. Notice the sound of your breath. Now I'd like you to notice where in your body you feel that pain right now. And if it's in several places, just focus on one area. Or if you were thinking more about an emotion, see if you can feel where you're feeling that emotion in your body. Maybe you feel it in your throat, or maybe your shoulders or your neck, maybe your belly. Keeping your eyes closed, just notice where in your body you're feeling this. And now I'd like you to imagine that you are breathing in, and as you breathe in, you're breathing into that area that you're focusing on. And you're breathing into that area with an intention of cherishing that area. The way you would cherish a small child if it was hurt, or a pet, a loved one. That cherishing, that compassion, that love that you would give to this other person or a pet. Imagine that you are giving that to this area. This loving attention. Breathing love in there. And you can even say, I love you. I've got you now. I hear you. I'm listening. I'm not going to forget you again. And maybe you can imagine that as you breathe into this area, that loving, cherishing, compassionate feeling is expanding. I notice you. I love you. I'm listening. And who is the one that's listening? Could it possibly be your soul? That completely loving part of you. Could call it soul, or super consciousness, or higher self. That part of you that's all knowing and all loving. It's breathing loving light into that area. And a last breath now into that area. And now bring your attention back to the space that you're in. the support beneath your feet. The support that you're sitting or lying on. Maybe just wiggle your fingers and your toes. Turn your head to the right. Turn your head to the left. Come back to center. One inhale and an exhale with a ha. And then really slowly and really gently. First with a flutter. Open your eyes. Slowly, slowly, slowly coming back to this space. And I'd love to know, how do you feel now? Go back to that space in your body, the place in your body we talked about beforehand, and now rate that level of pain or discomfort or the feeling, whatever it is. Rate that again out of 10. And I'd like to know, did it drop? Just give me a yes in the comments if you notice that it dropped. I know when I do this, people always say they have a little drop. And what I want you to know is that you did this, and you can recreate this anytime. And I used to think of this as like pearls, that if I could create these little spaces throughout my day where I could lower the pain or feel less pain, then eventually I would have a full pearl necklace. The day would be full of those pearls. So I hope you found that helpful. Let me know if you found it helpful. I was going to share something too, see if I can find it here now. A little guide you can get. It's thewellnessengineer.com /breath. And thewellnessengineer.com Well, let me just see if I can find it for you. Because if I can't find that one, I'll find something, a little gift for you to download. Okay, let me go in here. Looking on here. Let me just see. Oh, breathe it was. That's why I couldn't find it. Here we go. I'll put it in the, make a little banner here. There we go. And a banner there. Okay, show. There we go. Look at that. thewellnessengineer.com /breathe. I'll also put it in the comments. If you want to download that, you can. Hi, Anne. Oh, if I can. So I wanted to know if I can do particular techniques for knee pain brought about by injuring myself. Yes, yes. So during chair yoga, yes, and I would say yes, you can. These techniques are totally. They cannot hurt you, right? So they definitely will help. And if your knee is speaking to you, I want you to try some of the other techniques I talked about. Maybe not so much today, but I want you to think about your knee and also say, my knee is like, it's speaking to me right now, but I'm okay. Okay, so you want to send yourself messages of safety while you're thinking about that knee pain. Okay, so if you're noticing the knee pain, just say, There it is, but I'm okay. I'm safe right now. And kind of don't like go down into the future of like, oh, what does this mean? What if it doesn't get better? Because that's going to wire together those networks of fear and pain, which just strengthen it. Okay. So we want to lessen it. We want to go, okay, I'm noticing it, but I'm fine. I'm okay. And I know this will heal, because you can even say, I used to say these things, my body's a healing machine. I'm a healing machine, right? So your body is always, and it really is always trying to heal. Okay. So we just need to kind of get out of the way and stop blocking it and let it do its healing work. So thank you so much for joining me, everyone. I hope you found this helpful. I will have a webinar coming up. I haven't got the links ready yet, but I will have one coming up. The date is set for November 29th. So I look forward to that, and you can join me there to learn even more. And I'll be back again to do these live Q&As. I do them once a month. And so if you'd like to get on my email list, you can do that by downloading that link that I showed you at thewellnessengineer.com/breathe. You'll get on my email list then, and you'll get notified when I'm doing these events. Okay, so it's just my little way of giving back. If you haven't already followed me, whether you're on YouTube or whether you're on Facebook, go ahead and follow me, like this. And I really appreciate that. It helps reach more people because we're telling the platforms that it's valuable content. And I also have a podcast, Wellness by Design. All the podcasts are on my YouTube channel. You can also find them if you want to listen to podcasts, and I interview all kinds of experts in pain. I also teach in my podcast as well. So you can find it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Follow me on LinkedIn or Instagram. So on those channels, I'm at Jane Hogan Health. The Wellness Engineer was already taken. So at Jane Hogan Health is how you find me on those channels. All right, my friends. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you again soon. Thanks so much for joining me. And feel free to share this video with someone who needs to hear it and watch it over and over again. That little exercise will be super helpful for you. The more you do it, the more quickly and easily you'll be able to do it. And then you'll be able to keep reducing chronic pain, and eventually my wish for you is for you to have no chronic pain at all. All right, have a great day. Talk to you later.